Three-Man Weave. I'm your host, Jesse Kass, and I'm joined by two very talented, incredible guests. To my left, we've got Nican Robinson, who's back for a second episode in a row. And to my right, we've got my man Taylor Walker, who's joining us for the first time. So, guys, thanks so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Repeat, try to make it a three-peat.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, let's toast our beers. This episode brought to you by Beer and Candy, promoting healthy living. But we're here to talk, about basketball as we usually do, and just have some fun. So, Taylor, since you haven't been on the show, we knew each other. I've been working at LMU for 6 years now. You were a player there. We went to the same high school and everything. But talk a little bit about your experience at LMU and your college basketball career.
Sure. So it starts when I was in junior college. I was going to Fullerton Community College, and obviously I wanted to transfer, but I had gotten injured, and so I didn't have any prospects at the time. And one of my assistant coaches knew Jason Levy, who was the assistant coach at LMU at the time. So they set up a meeting for me to come in, and they didn't have any scholarships left, so they offered me like a walk-on position. But it was really funny the way they did it, because they told me basically like, if you come here, you're not going to play. That's what they told me, their first words, which I respected. I respected, because it's like they were, truthful in a certain sense. But make long story short, I ended up trying out. I made the team. I became friends with Anthony Ireland. He was my best friend. He was their best player, or our best player, and I just kept on working at it. And then my junior season, I got like 4 minutes the whole season. And then my senior season, we were a very bad team. And at that point, I was just, I just wanted to. I came out and practiced, did my thing. I was just, shooting, whatever. And we were at BYU on a road trip, and we were getting smacked and blown out. And then they put me in. They called my number. First thing I do, I go down to the other side of the basket, get an and one layup, and then I was like, all right, cool. That's pretty solid. Everybody's getting hyped on the bench. And then that road trip, we went to Moraga to play St. Mary's, and the coach put me in. They put me in the first half. That was my first time like really getting exposed to that, and I did solid. And so lo and behold, like as the season went on, like I kept on getting more and more time, more and more responsibility, and by our conference championship, I was starting. And so it was it was a good experience, and it taught me a lot about perseverance and staying disciplined, staying positive, and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a great ride.
Yeah, being a part of that, I was the play-by-play announcer for the team, and Taylor wasn't kidding when that season was rough for a while. The team had a 14-game losing streak, and it's not your traditional 14-game losing streak. Yeah. It was, I think, 9 or 10 of them were decided by 3 points or less.
Right.
It was just like every game was down to the wire, but couldn't get it done. And then that conference tournament was probably one of the coolest things I've seen. It was the format was different back then, but you guys played 3 games in 3 nights. Beat Portland, beat San Francisco in overtime, and beat Santa Clara by 1 with about 5 seconds left, and then played the number 1 team in the country, Gonzaga, a 1-point game at the half.
Right.
And then they eventually ran out of gas because it was the 4th game in 4 nights. But that was one of the cool. What was that experience like for you being a player and basically after such a tough time, and for you, coming up in your own, as you said, getting those minutes and getting the opportunity, and then kind of breaking through and having that really cool moment?
Well, for me, at that point, I just, I had so much confidence that I felt that, I didn't care who we were playing against. I felt that we could go out there and do something and win. And so it was definitely, it was a great experience. It was just a conference championship, so it wasn't, like you're going to the tourney. But, when you step out there in those types of situations, like, the type of adrenaline that you have, it just... there's no other way to describe it. I don't think I'll ever feel something quite like that again.
Yeah.
Just like, just being out there on the court, with all your fans that are traveling from, back home to come and watch you play, and then also being on ESPN, like, I can't put into words like how it was. It was an awesome experience.
Yeah, and before we move on, that game against Gonzaga, when they're number 1, what was that experience like just on the court? Were they talking trash? Were they, when you guys had them close? I remember Anthony Ireland and I think it was Pangos kind of going back and forth, but that experience.
Yeah, they weren't talking trash. Mark Few, he does a good job of keeping his guys really disciplined, and they're a very professional group. But those guys are huge. It's like Kelly Olynyk, who plays
he's in Miami now.
Okay, he's in Miami. Yeah, that dude was like Thor. Like when I look at him, he like 7 feet, 6'10", 7 feet, can shoot.
Yeah.
And then the tough part about Gonzaga is that, they have so many shooters. You got to watch out for all the screens. They're big, do a really good job setting screens. So, I mean, it was a tough experience, but, we did what we had to do out there and laid it out on the floor because that was, our last experience, or my last experience as a college athlete. So.
Yeah, and I will say to attest to the Atlantic thing, he came this close to when he was trying to save a ball, barreling me over. So I'm in the court side. I saw my life flash before my eyes. He said he was a big dude, and luckily he stopped short. And I was all right.
Moments,
yeah,
man.
scary moments.
Folks are coming towards the bench, man. I'm not saying I'm jumping out the way.
You got to protect yourself.
Exactly, not by leaving.
Yeah.
Can't you? No way.
Yeah. But as we're filming this right now, March Madness is still going on. Final Four is about to be set. We know 3 of the 4 teams we're filming this. Loyola Chicago's in there.
Wow.
But Nican, before we get to them, you obviously played, as we talked about last time, at UCLA and Cal. Tournament experiences for you. So what was the atmosphere that your March Madness experience?
Rockstar.
Yeah?
That's it. As I try to open these sweet tarts, these are so freaking addictive. Rockstar experience. It's like rockstar experience. I saw it kind of hit me that it's a rockstar experience after a practice one time.
Yeah.
A friend of mine from UCLA. Actually, I went to high school with him. We were in Oakland because I was at UCLA my freshman year. We were in Oakland playing. We were about to play Memphis. We just got off the court, and there were some fans around the back. You know what I'm saying? Looking for their memorabilia to sign and whatnot. And I recognized one of my boys from high school. Like
looking for the team's honor or like sign memorabilia.
Looking for us to sign anything. And I go up to him like, "What's up?" And say, "Yo, yeah, what's up? Yeah." And like immediately, like he switched like, "Yo, good to see you. Yo, could you sign this for me, man?" It was like this whole thing just freaking changed. And I was like, "But I know you. Like, what is?" It's a rock star freaking experience. To take advantage of the rock star experience, my barber, like I sent for my barber at the time.
Yeah.
Like you don't send for barbers. I sent for my barber to come to the hotel to cut me and some other guys up. I'm like, yeah, send for my barber.
So you're living the like you said, the rock star, the star treatment.
It's right. It's wild.
It's like you're in the league, right?
Essentially, yeah.
Well, at a program like UCLA, that's pretty much as high level as you get as far as prestige and notability.
It's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's freaking ridiculous. And like I'm a walk on. Like I'm getting my name called. I'm like, what? Who? Okay, the rock star experience, man.
All right, and be honest with us. Who on the team was gloated in the rock star experience? Who loved it? Who basked in it? Who got a little too cocky, maybe?
Jordan, for sure.
Jordan Farmer, yeah.
For sure. I mean, he backed it up.
He play.
Backed it up, but for sure.
All right, so in the tournament right now, the story is Loyola Chicago, an 11 seed, and making the Final Four. Maybe by the time this airs, they might have won it. If not, they at least made it to the Final Four, which is incredible. But 11 seed, only the 4th time that's ever happened, and obviously for Loyola Chicago, the first time they've made it since 1963.
63 when they won it.
When they won it, yeah.
That just lets you know like the amount of talent in the early 60s versus now, like Loyola, like how the way that teams change and the way the cycles and whatnot change.
Yeah.
Between who's good, who's a major, high major, who's a mid major. It's crazy, man.
Well, you look at some of that, like with LMU playing San Francisco, they won the championship in the 50s. They obviously had Bill Russell, but they're a program that's more of a mid-major now. Right. But as you said, you kind of see things have changed, obviously, in that amount of
But also, the good thing about it is that you see that, like, college basketball is a lot more level playing field than what people expect, especially from the big teams like Arizona going out.
Yeah.
A lot of the Pac-12 teams that are struggling. You know what I mean?
Virginia bowing out to the
first 16 seed.
Totally Bennett. Why?
Exactly. So, like, that's the good thing about college basketball. That's what makes it so exciting. It's that, teams can, any given night, if you don't bring it, you're going to pay the ultimate price.
Yeah.
With everything on the line.
Well, obviously in college coaching is important, but how important is, we know a lot of the bigger programs like Duke, who obviously could get in the Final Four, but Kentucky, a lot of the one and done type programs that get those young players. How important is teams like we saw Rhode Island and even Loyola, of course, junior, senior laden teams? How important is that in college basketball to have that experience?
Very important.
Important as hell. Hence the reason why Kentucky lost.
Yeah.
You got to have that experience. If you don't have that experience, like you're a freshman, yes, you're talented, but we're a team of seniors that have been tested for 4 years, maybe 5. We're grown men compared to you children. You're talented, but that can only take you so far in the college setting.
Yeah.
True.
You know, so extremely, extremely important. Loyola and Michigan's going to be great.
That is going to be great.
I don't see Loyola winning, but
Michigan is red hot, right? I mean, obviously both teams are red hot, but Michigan, as far as how dominant they look, they might look like, to me, the best team in the tournament right now.
Villanova.
Yeah, I mean,
Villanova's looking pretty good right now.
Another upperclassman team, man. You've also got, Duke is just Duke.
Yeah.
They mix talent. We'll see what they do today against Kansas.
Well, they're kind of the balancing act. They have, obviously, Bagley, who's a one-and-done guy, but they also have, Grayson Allen and some of the other guys who are seniors.
Right.
So they kind of mix both of those settings together.
Who do you take with them in sorry, who they playing?
Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas. Yeah, Kansas and Duke. I think Kansas is gonna beat them.
My bracket was a mess, but I had Michigan and Duke in the Final Four, so I'll stick with my Duke pick to at least somewhat salvage my bracket a little bit to have 2 of those teams be correct in the Final Four.
Maybe I'm swayed. Maybe Duke is gonna win.
Yeah, I see Duke winning. I haven't really paid that close attention to Kansas and their program, but I can see Duke coming out.
Bill Self and his coaching, that's an X factor.
Yeah.
He's a guy that grounds kids and makes sure that they know how to play together and to elevate the talent, the raw talent when it needs to be elevated.
Yeah.
But Duke, man, Marvin Bagley, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked a little bit about Bagley in the last show last month, and he's one of those guys. I feel like this draft class, you never know until it actually happens, but it's like I think it's about 5 or 6 guys that could be really, really good, and he's one of them as far as the lottery picks. Is he he's your number 1 guy, or who's your number 1 guy for you guys?
I want Bagley to be number 1, but I think Aiton's gonna go number 1. I think just because of his perceived upside, but I think Marvin Bagley should go number 1 for sure. Michael Porter should not.
I can see Bagley going number 1 as well. I mean, he pretty much has all the attributes, but I just don't want him to be like a Josh Jackson. You know what I mean? I don't want him to be like that type of player. He goes really high, but then like when he gets to the league and it doesn't really his game can't really translate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That boy can shoot though. Like he can shoot.
That is what is going to help him at the next level. Just because, as we said, the kind of back to the basket big man is not quite important in the NBA right now. So you got to have the ability to pick and pop, spread the floor a little bit. But the fact that he can't shoot will help him.
And he can take you down low. He's soft around the rim, man. Marvin Bagley's a force, man. He's a force.
So you sure you're not gonna take Duke then?
I don't even know. I don't know. I know Loyola's not winning. Loyola's not winning in the Final Four. Like, that's just it. If they do, I'll eat my words and whatever else.
We'll see for next month's episode. If they win, we'll do something special.
I can't have any candy if that's the case. Loyola's not winning. Period. Duke, I don't know. I don't know. I like Kansas and I like Duke.
Yeah.
I kind of like Duke more than Kansas, but something's telling me Kansas is going to
You said that gut.
Yeah, I like Duke.
Bill Self.
Yeah, I can go with that too.
I don't know.
All right, but you guys like Bagley. You mentioned Aiton could be number 1.
I'm telling you, man.
There's also Luka Doncic, who's playing in Spain right now. Plays for Real Madrid. What do you guys think of him? Have you seen him a lot?
He's a project. He's a project. I like his upside. He's developing in Europe. He's developing in a different game, in a different environment. He's still doing it at 17, 18?
And he's playing pretty much a star over there.
Right.
So he's getting a lot of attention.
I don't even know. I don't know. I know Loyola's not winning. Loyola's not winning in the Final Four. Like, that's just it. If they do, I'll eat my words and whatever else.
We'll see for next month's episode. If they win, we'll do something special.
I can't have any candy if that's the case. Loyola's not winning. Period. Duke, I don't know. I don't know. I like Kansas and I like Duke.
Yeah.
I kind of like Duke more than Kansas, but something's telling me Kansas is going to win.
You said that gut.
Yeah, I like Duke.
Bill Self.
Yeah, I can go with that too.
I don't know.
All right, but you guys like Bagley. You mentioned Aiton could be number 1.
I'm telling you, man.
There's also Luka Doncic, who's playing in Spain right now. Plays for Real Madrid. What do you guys think of him? Have you seen him a lot?
He's a project. He's a project. I like his upside. he's developing in Europe. He's developing in a different game, in a different environment. He's still doing it at, what, 17, 18?
And he's playing pretty much a star over there.
Right.
So he's getting a lot of attention too.
I want to see him. I mean, if you top three, top five coming into the draft, or coming out of the draft, you got to be able to create. I want to see him create and how he creates on the NBA level.
Yeah. I've only seen him in limited time. Obviously, the FIBA championships were last summer. I was watching the game between Latvia and Slovenia. Porzingis had like 35. Doncic going right back at him. He had like 30. So he wasn't backing down, and I know he had Dragic on his team to help facilitate and create, but I think he could be something special.
I think he could too. And not only that, he's got that European League mentality of toughness, right? Of defense.
And that's something that used to be the opposite. It used to be European was soft, and now
they're tough, man.
Yeah,
For sure.
They're absolutely tough. I like him though. I do like him. Top five.
All right, so we were talking a little bit about Steph Curry. Let's go back to that. Let's move to the NBA. We were talking before the show about the Warriors and how they're obviously the favorite, being the defending champs in 2 out of the last 3. But they're going through health issues. Curry's got the MCL sprain.
No.
Durant's got the rib issue. Klay Thompson's got the fractured thumb.
Ribs and MCL, man.
If they are not healthy, does Houston have a chance to beat them? And if they are healthy, does Houston have a chance?
Yes. Houston does have a chance if they're not healthy. If they're healthy, I don't see Houston beating them. I don't think that, one, they're going to be able to cut. See, the difference between Houston and Golden State has a system. You know what I mean? Everybody, even though they got Durant, they got Steph, they got Clay, they got Draymond, they just work so well together. They play well together, and they have so many options because their offense is constantly moving. Everything about the Rockets, or most of it, even though they are running gun, it's a lot of pick and rolls, James pick and roll top of the key, or Chris Paul, it's your turn. You know, it's that same mentality. And then I don't trust. I mean, their defense has gotten a lot better, but I don't see them winning a 7-game series against the Golden State Warriors. I just don't.
When healthy.
When healthy.
Golden State Warriors are healthy.
Yeah,
so they're not healthy.
Yeah.
Not healthy, Houston definitely has a shot.
They got a shot.
But that would be the one thing that kind of sticks out to me. When Houston has their best defensive lineup out there, granted they can still have Harden and Chris Paul and create offense that way, but their offense, so you have someone like Mbah Moute or PJ Tucker who are serviceable, but guys that, in the playoffs, you're not going to be looking to score. Whereas Golden State, their defensive guys are still their offensive guys. Klay Thompson is obviously amazing. Durant, Draymond, their lineup is obviously the most stacked in the league.
Yeah, for sure.
High pick and rolls. What they're expecting you to do is expect you to help from either the strong side or the weak side. Probably whoever's the closest man, they expect you to help down and kick out 3-pointer. That's not going to work against the Warriors.
You're talking about Houston, right?
Houston. That's not going to work against the Warriors. Sure, you have the threat of James Harden scoring. You have the threat of Chris Paul scoring. Whether it be a high ISO, whether it be on the wing, whether it be a high pick and roll. But the thing is, that's not going to work against the Warriors.
Right.
They rotate too well. They help him get back way too well. They stop at the point of attack way too well.
Right.
Not going to work. Not going to work at all. As crafty as they could be, not going to work.
And the interesting to me about Houston and what they've been doing this year, right now obviously the best record in the league, but D'Antoni, as you mentioned, he's like the run and gun guy, the offensive guru, and they still score the most points, they shoot and make the most threes, but they're playing at the slowest pace in the league right now. Granted, it's still faster than what his son's team did when they were the fastest team, but the game has changed. But so they rely on that isolation play.
Yeah, they're methodical. They're not like the run and gun of the old. The Western Conference Finals teams of the Suns that couldn't get through. They're slowing it down because they have different ISO players. They have one of the best isolation guys in James Harden, one of the best isolation and trickiest guy to guard in Chris Paul. So you're able to slow it down and actually use those freewheeling and dealing kind of concepts with these two major ISO guys. Because once again, if I help off on him, boom, I got a 3-pointer. I'm kicking. That's not gonna work against the Warriors.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They can't grind it out. That's not a grind out type of system. That's a let me ISO and kick.
Like Charles Barkley always said, you live and die by the 3.
That's exactly what they're gonna do. And what happens if those guys go cold?
Well, then you're also living and dying by, granted, very good shooters and good players, but guys like Eric Gordon and Ryan Anderson versus guys like Durant and Thompson.
Exactly.
So it's just a different level of player.
Yeah, exactly.
Not gonna happen. And I'm a Warriors fan, but not gonna happen. Not gonna happen at all.
All right, so it's obviously you mentioned Houston could beat them and Golden State's not healthy. Who's the most important to the Warriors? That's always the question. Is it Curry or is it Durant?
I say Durant.
Curry.
Tell us why.
I think Durant, because he's so efficient. He'll shoot like 12 shots a game and still wind up with 30.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then also what he does on the defensive end, he's leading the team in blocks because he's so long, uses his length. And he just obviously stretches the floor. I think Steph is also obviously a threat, but I think Durant brings more to the table.
Okay, and why do you feel it's Curry?
Because it's Curry.
He's your guy?
Because it's Curry, man. Because it's Curry. I mean, he's a spark plug. He's a rock. He's everything that the Warriors need. The system is predicated around. It's not necessarily predicated around him, but just for the sake of conversation, it's predicated around him.
Yeah.
So even if Durant comes in and he's scoring 30, they would still win. That would be perfectly fine. But Curry he's that spark plug.
Yeah.
He's also, once again, that fundamentally sound player who can lead by example and do the small things. But also, if you leave me open, or if you don't, I'm still killing you from three.
Yeah.
And if I get 5 threes in a row, you're dead. That changes momentum. He's important as hell.
Yeah, but Durant can get those 5 threes in a row too.
Oh, he totally can.
So my question to you is, who's the best player on that team?
Curry.
Oh, you're crazy.
Curry still.
I would.
I mean, for the sake of arguing, I'm gonna say Curry. For the sake of like common sense, they're both important. and that margin of difference is like this.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing, and granted, there are obviously players that are smaller that are better than players that are taller. But when you're talking about two guys that are equal footing, Durant's 7-footer who can post up on someone, can isolate. So, as far as someone who you're giving the ball too late, I mean, what a ridiculous problem to have. Like if you're a great team like that.
I get to Durant. Thing is, though, once again, the system. You just have to look at the system. The Golden State Warriors are a system.
Exactly.
If we're talking one-on-one for one-on-one sake, I'll take Durant.
Yeah.
But for the system, Curry.
I mean, the system, they still run a lot of stuff through Durant. Like, why wouldn't you? It's Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Sure,
my whole thing is, like, also defensively, like, Durant, he's getting rebounds. I think ever since he's made that transition to the Warriors, he's stepped his defense.
His defense has gone way up.
Yeah. And blocking shots, getting rebounds, offensive rebounds. Like, that's the stuff that, even no matter, how good Curry is offensively, he can't bring that to the table.
Disagree. 100% disagree. Now, I mean, okay, he's not going to be blocking no shots. Rebounds, I mean, he gets as many rebounds as he can, so on and so forth. But once again, if I'm not looking at stats for a second, right? If I'm not looking at stats for a second, I see his impact on the court, once again, help-wise, defensively, and what he's doing to dictate on the floor on defense, he's just as important. Once again, like I mentioned before, that bump, that hedge that gives you a couple seconds for whoever to recover, to get back to the man, he's doing all the stuff. You can make that
same argument for Draymond, though.
Well, Draymond's not in this conversation yet. So you want to bring Draymond? So once again, this proves the point that the Warriors are a system.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah.
So if we make the point about Curry doing that, and you can say, well, you can make the same point about Draymond. They work that system, so it's a Warrior system. So even just the conversation of who's more important, it's a system. As you also said at the beginning, it's a system. So whoever you place in there, now of course there's certain things that are going to be heightened, like Steph Curry shooting, or Durant's ability to take you one-on-one, and he's just so long.
And he's shooting too.
He's doing that. He's like, that just elevates it up. But they are a humongous cinder block. Their foundation is just so tight.
Exactly. That's why I don't believe in Houston. I don't think they have that. I really don't think they have that. I think it's gotten better. I don't think they have it to where the Golden State Warriors have it. You know what I mean?
And Houston still has the question marks, obviously, as any team that hasn't won does. But you have the question marks for the coach with D'Antoni, obviously not being able to get over the hump wherever he's been.
Right.
You've got Harden, where he's disappeared in a couple of big elimination games over the playoffs.
CP.
You got Chris Paul, who had James Harden Houston team down on the mat and then lost to them. So.
I'll never forget the series where it was the Clippers versus the OKC Thunder, and Chris Paul had like 3 back-to-back turnovers that sent the game to overtime, and they eventually lost.
Game 5 at Oklahoma when they could have got a 3-2.
That's when I was like, okay,
can't do it.
Yeah.
Well, Chris has had some great playoff moments, but that Oklahoma game and then Game 6 against the Rockets, which that was not this Rockets team.
No.
Granted, when you're in the playoffs, you're somewhat good, but that team was not on anywhere near the level of the Clippers.
Yeah.
And Clippers had them down 20.
Right. Exactly.
And then blew that game 6 where they couldn't score for 8 minutes in a row. So
who's the scariest first round? Who's the scariest first round for the Warriors or the Rockets?
I would say the Thunder.
I mean, yeah, the West is jumbled up like that right now.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Granted, everything depends on injuries too. But for the Warriors, for me, I would say Minnesota. Just I feel like they've always played them well. They have athleticism.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
With Wiggins, if Butler's healthy, with Wiggins and Butler, and they got Towns. You know, Thibodeau might play all his guys like 48 minutes a game, but they've got that toughness to at least compete. And then for Houston, I think the Thunder would be their matchup, which could be troublesome.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'd absolutely agree with that. The Thunder scare me.
Yeah.
I said it. The Thunder scare me. They do.
When they want to turn it on?
When they want to turn it on, or they're hungry.
Yeah.
Can they sustain that hunger? No, but they're hungry. And they play like it. You know, they've got their 3 All-Stars. They've got Steven Adams, who might as well be an All-Star if you ask me. Their bench is not that great, but they will run their All-Stars into the ground trying to beat you in any way possible. And Russ will rise to the occasion any game. So that one scares me. I don't want them.
Yeah.
But I don't think we will.
Yeah, no question about it. All right, we've had a good time talking about NBA and college basketball. We're going to get into the Eastern Conference, but we're out of time here. So we're going to, before we get going, we know obviously you guys both still got stuff going on. So Taylor, what's some of the stuff you're working on? I know you've got some stuff involved. You mentioned with some NBA courts and what you got going on there.
Yeah, so I have 2 companies right now. One of them is Earth Encounters. It's a board game where we talk about different social issues. It's like Trivia Pursuit, but it's like without the trivia. It's like stuff that actually matters. And so right now we're talking with the NBA. I'm partnering with them with their community outreach program to like rent out the practice facilities for different teams in different areas, and then setting up games where like kids can come in and start playing with each other, and maybe get some other players involved and stuff like that. And then I'm also doing real estate now, where I'm buying houses, remodeling them, and then reselling them. And so I've been doing that. I've got my second house under contract right now, as of Tuesday.
Awesome. Well, congrats on that. And Nican, we know you were just at South by Southwest.
South by Southwest, we won the grand jury prize for Thunder Road. Jim Cummings and the whole Vanishing Angle squad. Good job in doing that and casting me. So just waiting on the other shoe to drop from that. I've got a little little YouTube show I just started called Slangin' Shorts. So basically, I write and produce shorts. So anybody that wants to, if you've got any ideas that want to be filmed or what have you, and actually create them, submit something to the show, just info@trigonproductions.com. info@trigonproductions.co. And check it out. Slangin' Shorts on YouTube.
All right, check that out on YouTube. Check out Earth Encounters for Taylor Walker. You guys, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, man.
We'll touch glasses one more time.
I finished mine. Just like last time.
Yeah.
Jesus.
This has been another episode of 3 Man Weave. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.